Now this is Hollywood Unlocked. What up, everybody? It's Hollywood Unlocked Uncensored. I'm Jason Lee.
I'm Melissa Ford, a.k.a. the Curve Queen.
Yeah, it was DJ Damage.
Okay, and we have Joy Villa in the building.
Boom.
I know
girl.
a lot of people
Hey.
are probably watching right now and saying, here we go. Because you're extremely confidential. You're
I'm
definitely
a
not
confidential person. No, I'm out there.
You're out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with a baseline of probably all of our audience right now is hating you.
That's okay.
And I know that you don't run from that, which I love because
That's
I feel
right.
like people who are who they are, you got
That's
to accept
right.
it and it is what it is, but we want to get into some things.
If I ran from every time somebody hated me, I'd be constantly running.
Yeah.
You know, and I eat a lot, so I don't want to run that much.
You're actually really tall in person.
I am.
Very.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
I'm 5'3", so I'm like a tall midget
You're
next to you.
bite size.
Yeah.
You're fun size.
I'm a concentrated package of
That's
cute.
right. And you got the curves. My curves are kind of spread out.
Yeah, but you have a lot a weight distribution, so you
That's
can
true.
eat a lot.
I know.
And not gain like me.
Okay, so let's get into what is your ethnic background? Because I thought you were a black girl.
Yeah, I am a black girl.
You're a black girl, okay.
I'm also a Latina girl.
Okay.
Hey.
So, you know, represent holding it down. I'm also Italian.
Okay.
So my dad's Italian-Argentinian, and my mom is Black American.
And so you're from where exactly?
New York.
Okay, but you grew up or you live in Orange County.
Well, I was born in Orange County.
Okay.
So my family, I was born in Orange County, and then they raised me between Santa Barbara and New York City.
Okay.
Which sounds super glamorous, and I guess it was, but we had our ups and downs.
So what part
just
of New
like
York
anybody
City?
else. 29th and Broadway.
Okay, so that's
You
Manhattan.
were in the city.
Yeah, Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your parents, were they like, they had money?
They had, you know, it was funny because they had money. My dad fundraised and he did a lot of different things. He was an actor in his youth and he had his own business. He was a big businessman, which I learned a lot from as an independent artist. But he didn't always manage his money well.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of money. And then when I went to high school, we didn't have a lot of money. And that's when you want to have money.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I didn't notice. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, 3 cars, no big deal. Manhattan, Santa Barbara, Orange County. And then when it came to high school, we were pretty much broke. So I learned how to thrift very well.
So who's black? Your mom or your dad?
Mom.
My mom.
Your mom's black.
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
But is she full black?
She's Black American. You know, no one's really like full black.
But I mean, is she black and white? Is she black?
No,
and
she's
Spanish?
black. She's Black American.
Okay.
Yeah, she's brown skin, black girl from Detroit.
Wow, well, Detroit's it's a rough place.
Yeah, it is. So she grew up in the real ghetto. You know, she would tell me stories. And she was, both my parents passed away, so I say in past tense. But my mom was someone who was super intelligent and she would speak proper and she'd get made fun of for that because she wasn't a ghetto girl and she was medium brown skin. So she said I wasn't too dark so that the boys didn't like me or too light so that the girls didn't like me. And I'm like, interesting.
So-
she faced a lot of colorism and prejudice and racism, and she would tell me that. You know, she grew up in the 70s.
So when you were raised by your parents, were they conservatives?
Well, my mom just voted Democrat, just like most Black Americans do, just because those are the people that canvass through the neighborhoods, and it's sort of like expected that we vote Democrat. And my dad was a conservative, being Latin, being Italian. It was something that he very much believed in. But I was like, whatever. You know, he had Fox News on in the house and Glenn Beck, the dude with the whiteboard. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I was like apolitical. I was a kid.
And so where did it go from being apolitical and with parents who were Democrats to you being
Well, Dad
pro-
was conservative. Mom was Democrat.
No, I get it,
right.
but
Yeah.
I mean,
She's
a
paying
black
attention.
mother. Well, I'm paying attention, but the black mother in the household pretty much reigns. I would assume.
No, you're missing the Latin part.
Okay.
Italian, Latin, that's the one who runs the household.
You think so?
I know from my house.
Well,
I mean,
I
I'm
don't
not
think in most
thinking.
houses.
I'm telling you my perspective.
Okay.
My mom was not, sassy black like I'm the one. No, but she did run the household in terms of like she was a stay-at-home mom. She cooked, cleaned, she ran it. But my dad was bring home the bacon, bring home the money, like very traditional family. So, but my dad was like super fiery, a little bit of an anger issue sometimes.
How did
know?
your parents meet? And where did they
In
meet?
1977, they met in Hollywood. Yeah, and they met at the Star Wars premiere.
Okay.
And my mom was holding the Darth Vader's cape, and she snuck into the movie theater. So she got to see it for free, and my dad was there. And then they actually ended up getting together because my dad owned Playboy Liquor, which is up the street from here, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, you see Playboy
What?
Liquor. Can you believe family
crazy.
history? Isn't that crazy? So my dad owned Playboy Liquor, and that's where they actually got together. And she was with another Italian boyfriend, and he just belittled that guy. And he's like, why are you with that guy? You should be with me. And there you go.
Okay, well,
I might have been conceived in the back room.
So is your choice to like have the political views that you have in terms of being conservative driven by your upbringing or just you?
It's driven by me. It's funny because we were raised, my parents were, Christians. So I was raised pro-life and somewhat conservatively, but we were just like artists. We just loved Jesus. We loved art, music. It was very like a wild, colorful life. And then I found politics more from the liberal, like, this is my group. I voted for Obama. I wanted a black president. I'm proud that we had a black president, supported Obama, but I wasn't political. I was like, yeah, hashtag this, hashtag that, hashtag feminist, all the popular things. And then when it came down to research, I was like, well, I'm actually conservative. Why didn't anybody tell me that these are the values that the Conservative Party holds? These are my values. These are the values I was raised with. So why am I voting Democrat? And I find that from a lot of black and brown Americans. They're like, yeah, we vote like this. We vote like, we want this, we want that. But then you're voting for the opposite.
But it's not your values to have a kid in a cage, right? At a border. I mean,
that's nobody's values.
I mean, it appears to be the current administration.
That was under Obama, actually, that started.
But that's what they said. I don't know that we saw the reports that we see now.
I mean, a lot of those photos that came out were under Obama's administration. Those were from 2014. So, I mean, the fake news is all of our enemies. No matter what side you're on, they are manipulating, the propaganda is manipulating us to try to believe a certain way. They want us to be upset. They want us to be angry because then we're easy to be controlled. And that's really what they want, left or right. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. They want to control us.
I think most people would be surprised that you voted for Obama. Like, I'm surprised.
I talk about it all the time.
Well, but what we see is
I know, because you don't, if you don't know who I am, which I always assume people don't know, it's my responsibility to show you and tell you. And I don't get offended.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important to have you here. Because
thank you.
All I see is the red carpet, make America great again.
Right.
And every time you hit the carpet and we post you, it's like the comments are
It's
lit
Chernobyl.
up.
It's fucking Chernobyl.
Yeah.
That's what happens in the comments. I mean,
Yeah.
You must know that when you go on a red carpet and you're wearing a dress that says Trump 2020 and make America great again, that you are inciting, a
reaction.
Rage.
You know what it is I'm inciting a reaction. I'm inciting conversation.
Okay.
I don't go out there to incite rage.
Okay.
That's other people's responsibility to deal with their emotions and feelings. But this is something that a lot of Americans believe in. I am a conservative. I'm pro-Trump. I've been to the White House. I've worked with the administration. I've worked with many different people who've worked with the administration. This is who I am.
Right.
So when I go out there and people say, did you do it for attention? Of course I did it for attention. Who's on that red carpet who doesn't want attention? Everyone's hawking something.
Right.
And yeah, I'm hawking my new album. Yeah, I'm talking about whatever. And yes, I'm also representing my politics.
Okay.
And that's something I do. And if it gets people to talk, if it gets people questioning, going, what's a brown girl like that with an afro, looking like that, supporting this president? Wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, because people definitely asked all of that and more.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, have you ever been in fear of your safety because you have promoted that message, that slogan, make America great again, the hat? These are all symbols that people of color recognize as hatred and divisiveness.
Some do. Some do. Not all of us.
Most do. Most do.
I wouldn't say most. I would say there's probably a bigger portion that's, out there talking about it. But if you're black, if you're a person of color, you're brown, you're Asian, what happens? You get ostracized for being pro-Trump. That's why I did that. So there's more people than you know who probably think like me. They're just like, I'm not going to talk about it.
Right.
I don't want to get hated on. So I trust me, because I know.
I would.
I mean,
I
it has to be.
believe that.
It
I
has
do.
to be true.
I do believe
It has
that.
to be, because how did he
got
get voted
elected.
in?
Yeah.
Thank you. And there's people who are moderates, and I'm a moderate conservative. I'm not far right. I was never far left. And that's really what I hate against, or I don't hate, but I push against this far us versus you, when I'm like, most people, if you talk about issues, we're going to go into this purple where the blue and the red mix. But to answer your question, yes, I have gotten death threats on my life. I still get death threats on my life.
Right.
Rape threats because I'm pro-life. Death threats against my family. Someone should find you. Someone should shave that afro off your head. Like you don't deserve this, that. I mean, the really most disgusting stuff I can, pull up in my comments, and that's a fact of life. But that makes me do it more because I'm like, whoa. Simply being, I'm controversial, sure. I know I'm out there eliciting a response, but I'm not out there to hurt anybody. I'm not saying down with Obama or down with Hillary or down with Biden. I'm not saying, fuck you for your support. I'm saying this is who I support. But yet it elicits so much hate. If I don't like someone, I ignore them.
Yeah.
I don't go on their page and say, die, bitch, fuck you. I hope you get slaughtered. I'm going to find your address. You better watch your back. These are people of all different colors, mostly people of color, calling me the N-word, calling me a house nigga, calling me, all kinds of stuff, and racial slurs. And then, people who do call me the N-word who are white are liberals. But they think they get a pass. They're like, you support Trump, so you're a nigger.
Well, do you ever?
Like, wow.
Well, I don't think. I'm
not saying you say that. You guys obviously
Yeah.
are intelligent and questioning, wanting to find out why I think the way I think, which I love that.
Well, let me ask you this first, just so we can put it out there and we can understand it. What is it about Donald Trump that you support?
It's a lot of different things. One of the things is, when I was looking to become political, I was looking at Bernie because everybody in my scene, I live in Hollywood in the music industry.
Feel
was
the
looking
burn.
at Bernie, feeling the burn. I was like, feel the burn. Oh my God. And I didn't really know what he represented. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, the trade deals look good. But I wasn't an intelligent voter, which I have to say, not to insult most people, but most of us are not. We vote, but we vote by what we look at and we go, okay, that looks right. That sounds right. That my peers approve, right? Oh, wow, she's a woman. I want a woman. Wow, he's black. I want a black. I want this. I want that, But that's not voting with your conscience and looking into the issue. So when I started doing that, a friend of mine's like, you should look at Trump. I was like, what? Isn't he a racist? Isn't he misogynistic? What the hell? Not that guy from EFI. Like, I'm not going to vote for that guy. Like, just look at him. You'd like him, Joy. He's from Queens.
So who said this to you?
This was one of my close girlfriends.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you wouldn't know she was. She's not famous.
But again, we're looking at the person, not the politics. So what about the politics?
Right. But that's what I did, is I started looking at the politics. I started saying, okay, wait, he's pro-life. I've always been pro-life. I gave a child up for adoption, even though I was pressured to get an abortion. And being pro-life doesn't mean I hate on women who have chosen abortion. This is a hard, difficult decision, but I don't want women just thinking it's going to make it go away. And I don't want men having that, where you can't say anything because it's only women. It takes two to make a baby. And I know with that decision I was in, it was really hard. And I gave a child up for adoption. And I know her today. And she calls me Mama Joy. So that's why I'm pro-life. And I share that story. I'm very open, and I'm not coming from a place of judgment, but of love. And so I was like, okay, he's pro-life. He wasn't before. He talked about in the 1989 Oprah interview, we should have less dependence upon foreign oil, less dependence upon China. And this is in 1989, because she said, if you were to run for president, what would you do? And he was like, well, I don't know if I would, but only if the country needed me. We'd have more freedom, more American-made, more jobs, more companies being made, being put in America, getting tax breaks so that we can have more jobs for Americans. And he's doing all those things. He campaigned upon all those things. Plus, he allocated $1 billion to historical Black colleges and communities. He allocated money towards the First Step Act. He actually signed that in, which disproportionately is Black and brown people who are jailed on first-time offenses, which are non-violent offenses, and people are getting slapped 30 years in jail for that, first-time drug offense. And that's what that first act does, is go in there and say, wait, let's look at this, let's look at that, let's have women who are having babies in jail to not be chained to beds. So all sorts of things that a lot of Democrats campaigned upon but did not do. A lot of Republicans did. I never thought I would vote Republican. I was never someone's like, I'm a Republican. Really, I'm a Trumplican. But I believe in this man, and he's got the balls to just go out there and do what he says. If he ruffles feathers, fine. I'm not offended by that.
Well, the reason why I wanted to ask you is because I feel like we do see what I think are stunts on the red carpet, and we don't go and look at the message. I want you to at least have an opportunity to lay out why you support him. Because
Absolutely.
when you talk about misogyny, him grabbing women by the pussy is something that...
Well, that's not what he said.
He did say that.
He said,
we heard the
they
tape.
let me. Don't misquote it.
They let me grab them by the pussy. Grab them by the pussy.
He says, women, when you have money, will let you do anything. grab them by the pussy. They'll let you grab them by the pussy.
Okay.
Now that's consent.
But as a woman,
of
woman,
course,
though,
that's
you think it's
locker room talk. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't have to say what he says is appropriate, but it's not an implied rape. That's what I don't like, is when people, because I have real friends who are victims of rape. I've been a victim of abuse and molestation myself. And I'm like, let's take the Me Too movement out of this. Let's not dramatize something that he didn't say.
No, but
is it offensive? Sure. He apologized for it, as he should.
I've been a victim of child molest, so I understand being a
same.
victim. But when you think about Harvey Weinstein and him using his power, position, and money to leverage getting pussy, isn't not the same thing?
Well, it depends on is different. That's implied consent.
I think that I would say that Harvey Weinstein used the argument more than once that she let him put his dick in her,
and
but she
many
was
times
like,
they did. Many times they did. Listen, Harvey, we're in Hollywood. Many of these women were like, sure, I got a little wink, a little tug and rub, and I get the part. Why not? That's why so many of these actresses have not spoken out against him who know him, because they were like, well, I consented to it. You're going to hit it and I'm going to get that Oscar? Fine. Very powerful. When you have money, men do it too. When there's money on the table and there's a career that you've worked hard for and you go, okay, it's sex, fine, who cares? It's one time. Many of the people helped that monster become a monster. Many of the people. Now, then there were other women who were victims that he victimized. These are two very different people, by the way, if we're talking Trump and Weinstein. But Weinstein absolutely deserves what he gets,
I agree
and
with
he's
you.
a criminal.
I agree with you, but I also ask, like, are you able to objectively be critical of Trump? Like, he's not perfect, right?
I just said that was not a comment that I would support.
But how does he still get your support as a woman, given that you represent, not that you intentionally represent, but you are a class of people who are, were a part of the major discussion and debate over whether or not he respected women.
But hey, that's great that I'm that influential. He does respect women. I've met the man myself many times. He's always lifting people up. He lifts me up for what I do. He gives props where props are due. He has many women in the White House working there. He has his daughter Ivanka who's working there. I know many others. I'm not going to name the names, but there's plenty of people on staff who I personally know. I can say Jenny Korn. She grew up. She's a girl from the barrio out here, and she's Mexican American, and she gets all kinds of hate on her. And she says, I don't care. I work for the president. I respect this man. This man respects me. What you see in the fake news is not the full picture.
But isn't fake news a narrative to get people distracted from what people are really talking about?
That's what fake news is.
Right, but there's fake news on Fox as well, right?
Of course, there's fake news everywhere.
So how do you know what's real and what's not? Like, how do you decide?
Great question. Yeah. That's a beautiful question. How anyone should decide is to look at one source as one source. Now see if they're naming other sources. Are they naming where they're getting this information from? Then look that up. Now, if you got something from CNN saying this, look at what Fox is saying. If Fox says one thing, look at what CNN is saying. Look on the left and the right. Now make your decision based upon two different arguments. What you know. Click on the little links. When it says citation here, click on that. Look at it. And this is literally what colleges teach you on critical thinking, because I've taken courses on this, but this is what you have to do because there's so much propaganda out there, and anyone can make a blog. That's kind of cool, and it's also dangerous. I could say blah blah blah, like we have the coronavirus, right? There's a hysteria. We're actually riding a wave of hysteria right now.
What's your thoughts on that right now? Do you think that that's exactly what it is? It's man-made hysteria and it's bullshit, or do you think that there's a genuine cause for concern and we should all be quarantined?
Or did Trump create it to get reelected?
Exactly, or did Trump create it to get reelected and like?
Oh my God, it's funny. I haven't heard that.
He's the only person come in contact with a motherfucker that got it but ain't got it,
and basically destroy the Chinese and Iranian markets. Like, was this a conspiracy?
That's interesting. Well, I've heard a lot of things from the 5G network has caused it in Wuhan.
I've heard that too, yeah.
I've heard that, which is very convincing. I'm like, shoot, this is kind of scary, because there's many doctors. There's something like 60,000 scientists and doctors have warned against 5G being released. And on my way here, I just saw this big thing, 5G for you in Los Angeles. I'm like, you guys maybe want to like roll back on that. I don't know. But I do know one thing is that there's hysteria, there's propaganda. That is more dangerous than any disease. Not that this disease is not real. I do believe that it's real. But if you have a compromised immune system, you're going to die from it. If you're a normal, healthy person, it's basically the flu. No one wants the flu, but we're not freaking out going, let's quarantine every living person. And like I went to Trader Joe's, all the toilet paper is gone.
Yeah.
Like everybody's freaking
saw
out.
it too,
Like,
yeah.
Did you see it? And everyone's just like, and I'm like, this is stupid.
We were just at Pavilions yesterday. She was like, I'm getting toilet paper. I was like, okay.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
toilet paper.
yeah.
Let's
No,
get back.
I gotta say, but then I went to the 99-cent store and there's plenty of toilet paper. So I'm like, this is a fake. The over exaggeration of this is what I don't like.
Right.
I'm gonna go about my life. Of course, I'm gonna wash my hands. Definitely, you don't want to have a disease get you, but you don't have to like now quarantine every living person. But it's funny because Trump was blamed for this. And now you're saying Trump is creating this. So no one can win. He can't win. Like if you're the president, you can't win. It happened to Obama. It happens to every president. 50% of the country's going to hate you. 50% is going to love you.
You've talked about Obama. I don't remember ever reporting on you wearing Obama anything when he was the president.
You didn't know
voted
who
for
I
him.
was. I wasn't a celeb. I didn't hit #1 on Billboard, on iTunes or Amazon as an artist. I hadn't toured 35 countries yet.
Right, but where were you? Were you
I was
publicly
still
supporting
struggling.
him?
Yeah, I
Like
went
on
to
carpets?
I wasn't invited to carpets. I wasn't at the Grammys back in those days.
Okay.
I didn't become a member of the Recording Academy in 2015, and I wasn't political at that time. But I was in a music video in Times Square that supported Obama, and I get hate for this from the right, by the way. That's why I remember these things. Because I'm just like, I support who I support. I'm out there living my life. It's not always on my mind. Have a lot of other things I'm into, but the right many times will hate on me for this, but I'm very public about it. I supported Obama when I was in Asia for the G4 summit. Actually, he was in Singapore and I was in Singapore at the same time. So I was like, I hope I get to meet him. I hope I get to see him. You know, I don't delete those tweets.
So when it comes to like a woman's choice, a woman gets raped and she gets pregnant. Should she not have the choice to have an abortion?
You know, rape and incest, things like that,
yeah.
those things are horrible, horrible. They're also, fortunately, 0.04%, I believe it's 0.04% between that and 1% of rape cases, or of pregnancy cases, abortions that happen.
But doesn't one have
So,
enough to...
Let me answer
Go
this.
ahead.
So this is the thing. You either believe that life begins at conception or you believe it's not a baby until you decide it's a baby. I believe that life begins at conception, no exceptions. So if it's a baby, we have a life. We have a decision to make concerning a human being. So when you come from that compassionate angle, you do have to have compassion for everyone, including the mother. I don't believe the child should suffer for the sins of the father. I don't believe the mother should be forced to raise the child. I don't think anyone should be forced to do anything. I believe in women's rights. I'm a woman.
But isn't that the right to terminate a pregnancy if you're raped or have incest?
Well, do we have the
'Cause
right to kill somebody
I'm
that's an inconvenience
well,
to
we
us?
just- well,
I
we-
mean,
we-
really, this gets into a deep conversation.
We just put a man to
It's
death.
either
We just
human
put a man
or
to
it's
death
not.
recently, though, who was everybody said was innocent. He claimed his innocence. The family of
Who
the
is
victim
that?
said he was innocent. What was the guy's name? Google that. We'll get his name. But he-
Shoot, I'm not up on this news.
Yeah, nobody exonerated him. But my point is that like I just fundamentally don't understand why the government has a say so over what a woman does with her body. That part.
Well,
'Cause that
I
doesn't apply to
understand
us.
that. I understand that because I'm a conservative, so I'm very much like hands-off government. Let me do what I want. But you could also argue the same thing for murdering somebody. Like, why should the government put me in jail because I want to kill you? You're my friend. You're my body. You see how ridiculous that argument goes? If I believe, and I do, and many pro-life people do believe that this body is not the woman's body because it's not. You're growing another body. So it's in you, but it's dependent upon you.
I have huge problems with this, specifically because we just discussed the Gabriel Fernandez case, the trial of Gabriel Fernandez. And that is an example.
I don't know about this.
Oh, you got to watch it on
Yeah.
Netflix. That is an example of the result of having unwanted children, DCFS, this overwhelming, population of unwanted children who are abused and sometimes murdered at the hands of parents who never really wanted them. I don't believe I don't believe that life starts at conception. I really don't.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, it's not a
When does life start?
when it's a fully formed human being, like it's got a
When is
spine,
it
it's got a brain.
Well, it has a spine in about 8
There's-
weeks.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It does. It has a spinal cord. that's
It doesn't.
developed.
It's literally the size of at 8 weeks old. It's barely the size. It's not even the size of a lima bean at that point.
It's
Is not.
small,
It's not a human being. Therefore, it doesn't have the same rights that we would expect a human being to have.
So but see how murky it gets though, because it's like you can ask a doctor and they'll say, yeah, this is a separate set of DNA. This is not even a religious thing, right?
Yeah.
Like even though I believe it's a life and I'm a Christian, but we're not even talking about bringing God into it.
No.
It has a separate set of DNA. So that intrinsically makes it another being. You could say, well, but it's dependent upon the mother, but even after it's born, it's dependent upon the mother. So it's 6 weeks, about 4 to 6 weeks, you can detect a heartbeat. So that's a different heart. It's got a different system developing. Listen, I'm not somebody that's going to tell you how to think or what you should vote. But for me, it's very clear that this is a separate life. And when we're dealing with a separate life, even you said, I don't want a child to be tortured or abused or killed. Absolutely, because you're compassionate. Well, I don't want a child to be tortured, abused, or killed either, even while the baby's in the womb. I don't think we should say, let's kill this baby to prevent it to be murdered later. What we need to do is push, obviously people don't rape others. Let's not have that as something that's there. And let's make sure that women are protected. And then also let's look at saying, listen, a lot of women who get abortions, most of it, 97% are, I can always get rid of it.
No,
I can always get rid of it.
No, I think
those are the statistics.
I think that
those are the statistics that even CDC will report. That many places that have no political affiliation.
I think that it is.
Report.
I think it is an irresponsible fallacy to promote the notion that women choose and use abortion as a means of birth control. Men are out of the conversation
men
for me.
Are not.
But that's
They're
my
part
point.
Of it.
I don't
it
feel
takes,
like men should have an opinion. If you look at Congress, if you look at the president, it's all men who decide what.
And I don't think that's right
body.
either. But I'm a woman telling you about this right now. 100%
But you have no
of
power.
pregnancies.
You have no power over the decision when it comes to the
100%
government, right?
of all. Well, I kind of do. I have some influence. You just called it yourself.
No, but the point. What I'm saying
I
is
do believe citizens have power.
The lawmakers.
Well, that's why I'm out there talking and doing this, because culture is actually upstream from politics. Culture determines politics. Look what we're doing. We're talking about this right now. We wouldn't have talked about this 10 years ago. People wouldn't bring that on. This is a Hollywood show. This is, I'm an artist, but this is the beautiful thing. And these are arguments conversations that need to happen. They need to happen. Like, a lot of people say, well, I'm pro-life, I'm not going to talk to someone who's pro-choice. Well, I'm pro-choice, I'm not going to talk to someone. No, you need to have that conversation because I can still be your friend and respect you even if you think differently than me. And that's what we've lost. That's why I go out there and wear these dresses and talk about these things.
I think that the majority of the problem is that pro-lifers are usually extraordinarily violent. They're the ones that are, but yeah, anti-abortion.
That's not, we got to cite some facts here. Listen, I'm going to say one thing about what you said is we got to start citing some actual statistics here because otherwise it's just opinions.
They're the ones that are bombing abortion clinics.
It has happened, but guess what? There's also video.
And killing abortion doctors.
This is something that has happened a few times. There's also a lot of people who, there was a video of a guy who just kicked a girl. She said, I'm pro-life, and he kicked her in the face. There's a video of that went viral on Instagram. I mean, there's violence on both sides. Let's not pit one team against the other and say people will use anything to be violent against someone.
So I got a fact that I want to throw out. So you're pro-life.
I'm pro-life, yeah.
Okay.
It's been discussed.
You're pro-life.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Woods was the guy who was just on death row, who was put to death, even in claiming his own absence for the many years he was in prison. And the family of the victim said he didn't do it, he's innocent, but the government put him to death in spite of all the public outrage. Should he have been killed?
Well, public outrage is not the law.
But pro-life, his life mattered, right?
Well, yeah, I do believe lives matter. Absolutely.
So
from womb to tomb. I don't know the situation, and I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury.
But you wouldn't know the situation of how a woman gets pregnant either. But
no, I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. I'm not going to say that what she has to do. But I'm going to tell you, I love babies. I love life. I want to have babies of my own one day. I've already had one. If I would have known, if I would have, killed that child, that's my daughter today, who has a beautiful life and a beautiful family, it would have devastated me. I would have never stopped thinking about it. And a lot of women go through that. Some women don't, but a lot of women do. And I think it's time we stop telling women abortion will get rid of the problem and it's fine and it's okay, and pushing that on women. Because I don't hear a lot of, hey, yes, let's make your decision. Here's adoption. No, it's abortion is fine. Abortion is healthcare. Abortion is women's rights. Abortion. Okay, let's just slow down the conversation and say, if a woman is in this situation, let's let her make the decision. Because a lot of times it's daddies forcing their daughters to get abortions. It's the dudes forcing the women to get abortions. What does abortion help more than anyone? The man.
Maybe
it gets rid of the problem. Also, even in rape, what does it get rid of? His DNA.
Well, maybe
harder to prosecute.
Maybe the word abortion is what makes people take a hard line on women's right. Like, let's just say,
it shouldn't be though, because women's rights is so many other things.
No, but I mean in terms of specifically carrying life. But let me get away from that. Let me ask you this: is it a contradiction for the government to have a hardline opinion that women shouldn't have the right to choose whether or not they bring a life in the world, but still feel like it's okay to put people to death?
Are you saying am I pro-death penalty?
Yeah,
is that what you're asking? I don't have a stance on that. I don't have a stance on the death penalty because it's changed. I used to be pro-death penalty. Now I'm like, it's so messy.
The death penalty is fucking ridiculous.
Dylan
criminal
Roof
justice
walks
in and shoots up a black church. Does he not get put to death?
No, and I understand that, but then then there's the whole appeals process, and the entire time he's appealing the process, appealing his conviction, etc. He's literally being housed and fed on taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
And then when he is eventually put to death, if he is put to death, he's done so in the most humane manner. The consideration given to him has not been given to his victims. So that's why the death penalty is completely fucking ridiculous to me. That's the main reason why it's ridiculous to me. But that is
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say I don't have an opinion on it right now, but what you said, I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up.
One could argue that pro-life and a person coming into the world that maybe a parent doesn't want or whatever has to be, if it goes into foster care, now it's taken care of for 18 years by the system and taxpayers. So pro-life, I'm just trying to understand.
There's a personal responsibility here, right? When we're taking the smallest portion out, because everyone likes to go to the rape and the incest cases, and that's literally the smallest thing. Let's look at personal responsibility. We are in a state where I just met a 22-year-old at a pre-Grammys event. She's not using condoms, and she's not on birth control. I'm like, what happens if you... She goes, well, if I get pregnant, I'll just have the baby. I won't have an abortion. I don't think so. And I'm like, okay, that's reckless, but that's personal responsibility. We think, because we're all over 22, right? You're just barely, right? All of us just barely. But we think, of course, everyone's using condoms, everyone's using birth control. They are not.
We know that's not true. We know
they
that's
are
not true.
not. And I said, well, what about STDs? She goes, oh yeah, I guess I should use a condom for STDs.
Okay, well, she's a dumbass.
yeah.
No,
She's a
but
fucking
this
dumbass.
is a huge population that this is the next generation. Now I'm a millennial. She's not a millennial. I think that's that's Gen Z, right? They're now 21, 22. They're about to be the next, leaders and like she can vote. That's scary to me. But that's what we have. We have a lack of education on use a condom, use proper IUD. I tell everybody the IUD is the Ferrari of birth control.
I have one.
Me too.
It's the greatest
I'm like,
thing
why
ever.
don't women talk more about it? Why don't men talk more about it?
I scream it from the rooftops.
Meet, girl.
But it's
the Ferrari of birth control. And you don't have to use hormones, because I don't use hormones on my body.
Same.
You just use a little copper. People are like, oh, what does it do? All it does is it creates an inhospitable climate for sperm to be. So you can go ahead and just nut inside her and the sperm will die. How beautiful, how romantic, how wonderful. Get your girl an IUD. Prevent pregnancy.
Get your girl one.
Do it now. Valentine's Day, birthday, holiday. I mean, this is what I'm thinking. When we're doing personal responsibility, which is my biggest argument for being a conservative, I don't want the government I don't want to rely on the government for anything. Mail, maybe a couple keep the lights on the roads. Very simple, basic stuff.
Like one thing the government can give up is caring about what the fuck a woman does with their body.
Yeah, here's the thing.
But human beings are going to have to care about what we do with our bodies.
I think that the notion that a woman who gets pregnant and did not want to have the pregnancy, or the guy doesn't want, whatever the circumstances are, rape or whatever the case is, I think that it is irresponsible to assume that woman is like, abortion is the only answer.
But that's what's promoted a lot.
I think that every single woman on this planet who has the ability to conceive and does so without intention thinks to herself, should I have this? And
Yeah.
and really
Yes, of course.
thinks about that. So so if
Absolutely.
a woman does in fact choose to terminate the pregnancy, that is personal responsibility. That is the condom broke.
Let's be real.
You know what I'm saying?
This is a lot of,
This
I
can
don't
go on
want to
for
keep
hours.
going on with this because I feel like this is not the,
it's a lengthy
pro-life,
time, yeah.
pro-choice,
Yeah.
show. You guys are probably interested in other things as well. But I'll tell you one thing is like 97%, if you look at the statistics, it's 97% of people are doing it, cite other reasons. They don't have the money. It was a bad time, pressure from others. 97% of women, they're telling these people anonymously, this is the reason I had an abortion. That is a problem. We're not saying it's like 20% of women are doing it willy-nilly. Many women, according to these statistics, are using it as birth control. That's wrong.
Yeah, and that's where-
wrong
but
because
that-
also there is such a chance that a woman could also get hurt or die. It's an operation.
Yeah, but there's some
so
people
when
that,
you're going there,
but some people would say
it's
that
wrong.
maybe you could be disconnected from the Black community because the Planned Parenthoods of the world that exist in our communities are, and a lot of where these abortions
They
happen,
do more-
happen
yeah.
in
That's
our
where they
community
do.
with
That's
our
where they
people.
make their money.
But don't you?
I
think,
know there shouldn't be abortion clinics and liquor stores in every
Yeah,
on
agree.
every corner
There
in
shouldn't
Black
be.
neighborhoods.
I agree with
Somebody
you.
else did that.
Yeah.
That's not the Black community who put those in there. That's why I fight it. And Black babies, more Black babies in New York City are aborted than born. More Black babies are aborted than born in New York. We're telling Black women, go after your career. Don't have a baby. You can't. We're telling women they can't raise children. Hold up. As a Black woman, I can absolutely raise a child, and I want that decision. I want to make that choice. Talk about the most pro-choice thing you can do is tell a woman, absolutely, if you want to raise that baby, you can do it. You are not weaker for choosing life, and that's the last thing I'm going to say about it.
So what? Yeah, because we could go on and on.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, what are some of the things you stand for that actually matter to the Black community, like police profiling, police killing young Black men or Black women? Are there platforms or issues in the Black community that you stand for?
I opened it up like why I support the president. Black community colleges and universities getting funding. He allocated $1 billion towards that. It's actually the Urban Revitalization Act, which builds up Black neighborhoods. And y'all probably don't know about this, but this absolutely affects the Black community. And this is something that's super important. And whether you like Trump or not, that money is going where it counts and where it's needed. Also, the First Step Act, that's criminal justice reform, which Van Jones said at last year's CPAC. He's like, you guys are doing this. You guys are taking up the mantle of what Democrats are supposed to do. He had to admit, I love Van Jones, even though we're on different sides, I love that guy because he's proud of what he represents and he's done a lot of good works for the Black community. And he actually said, I have to admit, you're doing the work that I've always wanted to happen with Democrats. And this criminal justice reform is so important. If you guys don't know about the First Step Act, many people across the aisle advocated for it, including myself, and the president signed it. And my friend developed that 7 years ago in his garage, and it finally came to pass. And basically, it's rights for women who have babies in jail, which are mostly Black women, let's be real. Rights for people who have first-time offenses, especially non-violent offenses. We're talking petty drugs, petty crimes, burglaries. 30 years for freaking burglary? Oh, but you're a Black man. Wow, that's not okay. So there's that. We're talking looking into old cases that before had previously just been dismissed, and these people are just rotting in jail. They're in their 80s, 70s. These are elderly people not getting the proper health care and in jail with family on the outside, trying to get them out. So all of these things, this is a first step, but this is something that needed to be done a long time ago. And that, we know it's mostly Black men who are locked up, Black and brown men. So that, talk about affecting the Black and brown community. I want more Black fathers out there. This is a shame.
But when you have a worldwide stage like the Grammy red carpet, why not wear those issues on your outfits?
Would you even talk to me if I wore that? Would you care? Would I be on this show?
If you went
I
on,
wouldn't.
Hold on. Well,
I'll answer that question for you. No.
You don't know
you
that.
Would dismiss
that's like me.
absolutely.
Well, that's like me saying you gave your kid up because you're a bad mom. I don't
Wow,
assume.
you really gonna go
there? I'm
there?
saying I don't assume or project, so you can't assume or project because you don't know.
I can if I want. You
don't-
can say
if
that. You can totally
If you
assume
went
and
on the
project.
next red carpet and wore Black Lives Matter, you would be all over Hollywood Unlocked. Absolutely, because
I'm not going to do something that, I'm not going to do something just to get the attention.
you do
That's
that.
The difference.
You do that with Make America Great Again.
I already
You don't
did-
think so? You got to.
I already told you, I know I can get
You're
attention,
smart.
but I do it
smart.
for a purpose.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But
I'm
why
smart.
not do it for a purpose that helps to make black
You
people
getting
proud
really
of you?
testy about this. Is there something you want to say?
Well, because I'm as passionate. Well, I think I'm saying it. I'm as passionate about what I believe in as you are. We
That's
started this
awesome.
conversation saying all of our fans are probably not going to like you. However,
That's
what I
totally
find
fine.
interesting about you is your courage to stand for what you believe.
Appreciate
And this
that.
is a platform to debate that. I mean, if I came on
Yeah.
here and said, "Oh, you know, I love that you wear Make America Great Again on the red carpet," I'd be lying to you.
I don't want you to lie to me.
Yeah.
I know that.
I actually respect
no, I don't
that
want you to lie to me.
I actually respect that you have the courage to defend what you believe in. I don't
appreciate
necessarily
that.
agree, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's great.
But why would you assume that black media wouldn't care that you support black issues? on the
Well,
carpet?
I would just say it's not black media. I would say it's just media in general.
Okay.
You know, media wants controversy. So, and also,
I
I'm
agree with
not.
that.
That's what gets attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it's controversy to what end? And for me, it's always to the point. And I do believe that this is something that needs to be drawn attention to. There's many Black Americans, brown Americans who support this
Trump.
president, who are conservative in nature and support Trump and will vote him into office for a second term. This is a fact. And if we're going to keep hating on each other, we're hating on our own people. I exist. I'll continue to exist. You know, whether people hate on me or not. But I'm not here to say, oh, I'm the next person who's going to, you know, piss you off. Like, I'm not that person. I want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be attacked or attack others. And I know that's not what you guys are doing. That's why I came on the show.
Yeah.
I'm not that person who's like, I'm only going to do right-wing, soft-core politic, angles and interviews. No, I'm like, have me on, you know, Sway in the morning. They won't have me on, you know.
Really?
I'm like, bring me on.
Yeah, but
throw at me what you will.
But that's
I
why
go to
I think-
all the black media.
but
You
that's-
kidding me? I have a full team. I have a manager. They're always submitting me for these
But that's
things.
why I think we
But they
started
won't.
That's why I think we started without interruption. Lay out why you support them, because the people
Yeah,
who are
I
mad at you
appreciate that.
online don't know.
That's right.
And,
I appreciate
and
that.
you know, we do live in a world where controversy sells. So when you
Yeah.
see you on the red carpet, we think, here she goes again. But we don't know
That's
what's
okay.
behind that. Yeah.
So
And
is-
it's okay too. If people don't like me, I'm not here to be liked by everyone. Like, I know
neither.
people are not going to like me,
Facts.
and that's okay. You know, I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I've got a movie coming out soon called The Contrast. I'm working on a new album.
gonna
I've
get
been
into all
writing
that.
some stuff. You know, I'm a creator. I'm not a politician, so I don't have to be liked for votes. I don't got to kiss ass.
But
to
are you
anybody.
worried? But are you
and
worried?
I love that.
Are you worried about your career as it pertains to the purchase of your music? You know, fans.
No, she's actually
I
had
hit number one
She's actually
on
had a lot of
iTunes,
success
Amazon.
with the visibility she's gotten for what she's done.
Yeah, it's
So-
a good question though.
yeah.
But I'm not because
Because
I
a
was
lot of
before.
artists are afraid of not being
100%.
liked and accepted, and you
Yes.
seem to not give two solid fucks about that.
You know what? And it's because I've been in this industry. It took 10 years to be an overnight success.
Right.
I've
No,
been
I
in this industry
understand. I
since I
get
was a
that.
kid. You know, and I've been through everything.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something where I've been homeless, sleeping on my brother's couch.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be. I call it my sex, drugs, and rock and roll
Mm-hmm.
time, where I just was trying to make it in all the wrong ways, and I've been propositioned and felt I never did that. And I felt ashamed. I was like, "Is that what you have to do?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "God, how do I get it? How do people notice me in this industry?" And I said, "Fuck it." I'm gonna go travel the world with my independent
Those are my
music.
two favorite words.
Fuck it.
Because
Fuck
once you
it.
say fuck it and you get over the
Oh,
fear, you're
and
good.
then everyone loves you.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, there's something
well,
different
they
about
love
her."
you or they hate you, but
Or
either
they
way,
hate
they're
you,
talking.
But exactly.
Yeah, no,
you
I
get
understand,
me.
I
You
get it.
totally get it.
So
but
wait.
this is the thing. So I started traveling 35 countries with my independent album, which hit #1 on iTunes, Amazon, and Billboard.
Which
#1
album
in
was that?
rock. I Make the Static.
Okay.
#1 as an independent artist. So when I did go out there, I asked my ex-husband, you know, we're still good friends. I said, "Should I wear a Trump dress to the Grammys?" He's like, "Oh, no. He's Danish." He's like, "Oh, no. That's dangerous. Don't do that. Don't do it." I was like, "I'm going to do it." Boom. I like that reaction. So, I'm a rebel.
I'm
like,
assuming
you know,
the Danish are subdued people.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're just very
You know,
like,
I get that. I
you
get
know?
that. Yeah.
So let me. So are you a Scientologist
Yeah.
to this day?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
make that make sense.
I mean,
You
why
gotta-
do I have to defend my religion?
No,
No,
don't.
no.
You don't have to defend at
mean,
all.
I'm not going to attack you for your
Yeah,
religion.
First,
I was
please, we're
gonna-
not bigots
I was
here,
going to
right?
ask you. Well, I don't
Not-
know.
not at
no,
all.
we're not. I was going to ask you though, with Leah Remini and her coming out and
I don't
talking
know
about-
her. I don't know anything about
Yeah.
that. You know, I mean, people are gonna have conflicting views on whatever. But I'm a Scientologist. I have been for 8 years. It's changed my life drastically. It's incredible. It's workable. You can go to Scientology.net. There's a TV show you can watch in the privacy of your own home if you want to find out about the religion. It's beautiful.
How did you go from being Christian to a Scientologist? I mean,
I'm both. They're two separate things. Next question.
Oh, you can be both?
Yeah. Find out. Go online. Check it out. One's faith-based and one is philosophy-based, something you do.
Never heard that before.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the music.
Okay.
Okay, so
finally.
what current music? What we go? Listen, we.
I love this though. We've had great discussions.
You know,
This
some
is
people
good.
come on here and all they have to talk about is the music, and there's no depth to them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
like,
I appreciate
so
that.
there's three
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
tell us about the music. I think that you're controversial.
Yeah.
You are confident, and you're courageous.
Wow,
and
thank you.
I'm not saying that you can't be all three. You could be all three, and it not be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we live in a world, because that would be like me saying anybody who believes X is a bad person. I don't necessarily believe that. I work in a world. My job is to create conversations. Sometimes we post you, which is controversial.
Yeah.
Sometimes we post a black man being shot by the police is controversial. But sometimes we post that Tom Hanks has coronavirus. I mean, it's all relative.
It's news.
It's news.
It's news. Yeah.
So we have these
good.
debates.
That's why you
but
guys are not fake news. You're posting media. You're doing. You know.
we may have a
you guys
debate
are
here,
real.
but I don't hate you. I don't look at your Instagram on the red carpet and go, I fucking hate her, because I don't know you. And
Yeah.
we actually talked before you came in here
Yeah.
in the other room. You know, you do have a light about you. You
I appreciate
you know,
that.
we want people to
Well,
be
you
able to
guys
see you
are
and hear
extremely intelligent, and I appreciate this conversation. Obviously, you all, and you're strongly opinionated, which I respect, and you're interested in what I have to offer
Yeah.
and bring to the table, which is all I could ask for.
Well,
I'm not asking for agreement.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to change your mind.
No, this is-
just as you wouldn't try to change
Yeah,
my
facts.
mind.
No, we fully intended
Understanding.
on providing like a really safe environment for you to walk in here and say whatever your beliefs and your truths are. We're gonna stand behind what we think and what we say, but that doesn't affect the fact that we all marveled at how pleasant you are when you walked in the
wow.
studio.
Thank
you know, so it's like it's really strange for people. We're very committed to our emotions. We're very committed
Yeah.
to absolutism. You know, I don't like this. I hate this. You know,
Cancel culture.
I like this. I love this. You know,
Yeah.
so it's strange to have multiple emotions at the same time. Like, I don't agree with 99% of the things that you believe.
Yeah.
But I think that you're a lovely lady.
It's funny
You
how that
know?
is, huh?
Yeah, it's
It's funny how you can like someone and not agree with someone. That's an actual. I hope your listeners and viewers, because I know
But the
they're smart
world-
people, will
yeah.
take what you just said. That's actually really extraordinary.
Yeah.
Is that you can like somebody and not agree with them.
So I'm gay, and I love being gay. And
Love it.
what do you think about
Work
gay
it.
people?
What should I? I
Like,
love
do you think
gay
we should be able to
people.
get married?
Of course, love
So-
who you want.
So
I
there
don't
was a
care.
tweet before that you didn't believe in that, right? Or that you weren't a supporter of that?
Who tweeted that?
She tweeted that. When was that? It was a little while ago. Maybe your perspectives changed.
I've always, I mean, when I was a kid, growing up very strict Christian, you know, I would hear the other side of it, and you know, it's a
Understandable.
sin, but it would be like love the sinner, I hate the sin. I have gay people in my family.
Mm-hmm.
I have trans people in my family. I have nothing against the LGBT at all.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
We
you guys
cleared
are
that
human
up.
beings.
So let's talk about this new music. So the music that you have out now is what?
My new music that I have out now is called "Freedom, Fight for It."
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
Play
It's a
to the
song.
narrative. Play to the
I
narrative.
mean, it's my story. You know,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's all about censorship, stopping censorship, and being free to speak and say what you want, which is a big passion of mine. On either side, right? We should be able to have these conversations and not be shut down.
What about stopping
Which
cancel culture, too?
Cancel culture is all about censorship. That's
Yeah,
what that is.
I agree.
It's like, I don't agree. You did one bad thing, especially if you're gay. Oh, you have to talk like how gay people
black.
be. Or black.
Or
you
black,
have to
yeah.
see how black people. I hate that shit. Can we just be? Yeah, I'm black, I'm Latina, whatever, I'm a Trump supporter. It doesn't mean I'm gonna do everything that you think those people do. And so I don't want that for myself, and I don't expect that of others. I wanna get to know you. Like you said, like I wanna get to know you. You're gonna have your preconceived notions about me because of what I do. And it's, I could say, I'm not gonna be offended about that. I can't be like, oh my God, why would you hate on me? Well, yeah, a lot of people have strong opinions about what I do. Cool, but once you meet me, like, you're going to have a different opinion. I know that because I know who I am. I know my mom and dad raised me right to be respectful of others. And if you still have a problem with me, well, then that's yours. You know, and it's also cool. Like some people are not going to like it.
I didn't expect you to be as articulate as you are, honestly.
No?
Because no, I didn't. And you want to know the reason why? Because I want to get your opinion on Diamond and Silk. Because
Please.
they're kind of they're not.
You know who Diamond and Silk are, right?
I know them personally.
Don't you feel like they're kind of cooning for Trump? Because you're.
I would say I'm not going to use those words.
They're caricatures. Is that a better word to use?
Well, so is Cardi B.
But what is it?
I mean, who's not a caricature out
Cardi
there
B and
in the
Diamond
scene?
and Silk are two different people.
I don't think so. I mean, they're different people,
absolutely.
but they're characters of themselves. Everybody's a caricature somehow. Everyone's going to play into some sort of narrative. That's all I'm going to say. I know those people personally, not Cardi, but I'm not going to say anything ill against someone who's like also in my scene. They're doing their thing. They're not for everybody. They do very well. Just like Cardi B does very well. And I don't like that vernacular. I don't like that sort of. If you start thinking that's the only way a black woman can be, well then I hate that. Because we are articulate.
But I think
we are different and varied. We do have natural hair and natural bodies, and we do live a life that's not.
But Trump's not putting you on the platform to speak as articulate as you are about the issues.
And that's the thing. I would like that better.
And I feel like he's putting these Kentucky Fried Chicken people up there. Girl, come on now.
They perpetuate such a fucked up stereotype about black women.
Church's chicken, not even Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That's my problem. Joy.
Kentucky Fried.
I would much rather Trump put you on display and
I appreciate that
and represent rather than the two of them, because they are really like shucking and jiving, and they perpetuate they perpetuate the worst stereotypes about black women. They really
not
do.
To mention the
but
bad
Cardi
weeds.
B doesn't.
Absolutely,
I'm not throwing Cardi B into this
Well,
conversation.
I know Cardi B personally. I think.
See, but that's why you're not going to say anything about Cardi.
What Cardi does. Hold on. Let me say this.
She just asked me a question, so I was going to answer it.
We'll get to that. What Cardi does is I've not seen Cardi stand at a podium with a candidate and say, on her Instagram, she may start a conversation in her way.
I mean, stripping while you're pregnant, that doesn't perpetuate.
But do you know how many black women and women of color?
But you know how many women of color love Kentucky Fried Chicken and are doing that and talk like that?
Churches.
I mean, Church's Chicken. There's black women in America who act like that. We don't. But there's black women who act like Cardi.
Stripping in a strip club, that's a different situation.
Come on.
No, let me tell you why.
Hypocrite now. You can't defend both of those things. But it's because she's an artist and we love Cardi, right? Because of that. And you know her personally. Listen, I would be a hypocrite if I start judging people for their vernacular and how they talk and what they do. That is all on you. Are these people pushing dangerous stereotypes? I do agree. I do agree.
That's
but
the point
if we're going to say one or two people are, then we also have to say other people are as well. I don't think we can pick and choose. Either they are or they aren't. There's so many people out there who are.
Cardi wasn't a pregnant stripper, number one. She was way out of the strip club when she had her baby.
That could be debated on that stage. It's kind of the same thing.
But there are other people.
It's debatable.
Women who are strippers who happen to be pregnant or students
there's
are doing
women
what
who
they have
happen
to
to love
do to
Trump.
get out of this
Of course,
situation.
I'm not judging those women who are strippers.
I'm talking about
there's women who love Trump.
The two coons that are up there shucking and jiving are not doing it because they're trying to survive getting out the hood.
How do you know that?
Because that's the disconnection I think you all have from the black community.
How do you know that?
You think those
you don't
two?
Think that's...
I've seen the background of their home on their YouTube channel.
Oh, but Cardi B's still in the hood?
You're missing the point of what I'm saying.
I think you're missing the point of what you're saying. I'm saying that it's the same thing.
We're talking about a pregnant stripper.
This is just personal opinion.
This is a personal opinion thing. You use Cardi B to defend these two coons who stand up there going,
now we're saying coon a lot.
Come on now.
Well,
that's what they are.
No, I mean, in your opinion. That's
so
a derogatory
you subscribe to the
term.
YouTube channel to hear what they have to say?
I didn't say I do.
Exactly. Because you're smart.
I'm just saying.
You're a great debater, but you're smart.
Okay,
you ain't sitting up there watching. You are not sitting up there with a bucket of chicken saying, come on, girl, Diamond and Silk.
She's
I'm a
definitely
vegan.
not.
I'm definitely not eating no chicken.
I need to be a vegan now, too.
I did want to ask you about the police complaint that you filed against Corey Landowski.
Next question.
Who is that?
Trump's former campaign manager.
He was fired. Yeah, okay. Next question.
So this is not the story that most of us get.
You guys are digging to the bottom of the barrel now.
No, because maybe at the bottom of the barrel is...
I will say this.
The balance.
I will say this.
The balance.
Let me tell you my reasoning for asking the question, and then
can
you can say next question again.
Joy's gonna have to come back again. We're gonna have
I
to
would
keep this
love
thing
to
going.
come back. You guys are amazing.
The question that I was going to ask is Corey Landowski. I wanted to ask if you felt like he thought he could do what he did to you because of the environment that's fostered by Trump.
Next question.
Okay.
Well, I don't know the legal ramifications of what's going on with that. All right, so what do you think is the most misunderstood thing about you?
I think we covered everything.
Do you think people think that you're not proud to be black?
No, I think the biggest miscommunication. I mean, obviously, I'm proud to be black. Which whatever even does that mean? I'm very proud to be black. I don't use it as some banner. I'm black. I'm like a lot of light skinned people do. By the way, did you know I'm black? I'm black. Look at me. Look how black I am. I'm like, I'm black. I know girls who talk like that, and then they're like normal. They're like, hey, how's it going? I don't do that. I wasn't raised in that house.
Like
I was raised by a
Diamond
very,
Silk?
very black mom, Cardi B. Excuse me. I was just I don't have to broadcast my ethnicity because it's obvious. You know, people would tell me I'm not black enough. I'm like, please tell it to my ass, tell it to my lips, and tell it to my hair texture because I've always had these, and this is who I am. But I'm more than my color, just as you guys are. I'm more than my race.
But
I'm more than my
Oreo's black
community
on the
center.
outside too. We talking about like the core of who we are as people.
I'm more than, what my body looks like.
I
And I've
agree.
always been that way because I was also raised a nerd. I think the biggest misconception is that I'm a bitch. I think that people think I'm, bitchy
not a
or
bitch,
rude.
and you're not bitchy.
That's why it's a misconception.
You're
I
smart.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. Probably also that I'm dumb, right? Because intelligence is hard to find in beauty and in a woman that's out there in the, public scene. We don't find that a lot. And I'm not controlled by others. Like I'm an independent artist. I have my own manager that I can fire at any time I want, who also supports me. I have an assistant I can fire at any time. I have people that worked with me for years. I've had publicists quit on me because they can't take the heat. I'm like, fine, bye. It's cool. I'll do my own publicity. And I think the biggest misconception is that I am other people's ideas, and this is all coming from me. And this is my decision. This is who I am, and I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
So coronavirus was a creative way of shutting the borders, right?
Stupid.
And shouldn't Omarosa get her job back? What do you think about it? I mean, she was the highest ranking
I
African
know.
American.
I met her.
Do you like her?
I don't know her anymore, but I did meet her. Yeah.
She's unhinged now. Actually, no.
A lot of
What?
people are unhinged.
The
mean
book,
she's
her book is called Unhinged. Come on now.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
I was
Okay.
like,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I want to talk about, I've got this movie coming out.
Let's talk about it.
It's called The Contrast. It's my first feature film.
And you're the lead?
I am the lead.
And who are you playing, and what is the contrast in the
My
movie?
name is Maria. It's a rom-com.
Okay.
It's a romantic comedy. Nobody's doing those anymore, by the way. Everybody's trying to do the next Joker, which I love the Joker. A controversial opinion. But I love
A
dark
lot of
movies.
people love the Joker.
I like the Joker.
I was
a lot of
really
hate.
disturbed by the Joker.
Yeah, a lot.
It was disturbing.
But
I mean, it was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I just never need to watch
It
it
was
ever
dark.
again.
It
It
was
was
very dark.
extremely dark. And I love dark shit.
I
Yeah.
was mad that he didn't kill the midget.
Oh my God, I know. I thought he was going
Why?
to kill him too.
No!
Because-
Did you like the Joker?
Oh yeah, he didn't need
He
to
should have killed the
die.
midget.
I love that he
No
didn't
way.
kill
He
the
killed
little
He
person.
should have just killed everybody. Just
Joker-
keep that energy.
Yeah. No.
I'm mad at the inconsistency. But yeah, so this movie is a romantic comedy and I'm excited about it. It's going to come out probably at the end of the year. It's being edited right now. I'm also executive producer of it.
Oh wow. Where's it going to be?
It's going to be it's going to be on one of the streaming services like Netflix or Amazon Prime
Or Hulu?
or Hulu. I'm not kind of trying
Or
to discriminate.
BT Plus.
BT Plus, you know.
You being funny.
No, I'm not.
They'll totally have me.
BET
all
Plus.
right?
BT Plus.
Fox Nation. I'm just kidding. I mean, whoever wants to distribute, like whatever. We're talking with distributors, but it's independent romantic comedy. It's going to be good. It's going to be PG-13 and fun.
Speaking of movies, did you happen to see Bombshell?
Bombshell. No, I didn't see it. Is it good?
Wendy Williams said it was trash.
I will.
Wendy
Should
I,
have been a movie. That's my girl. Don't do
That's
it.
your- I know.
Don't do it.
it was. It was.
She
this-
thinks everything's trash. Like, oh,
It wasn't as
Wendy Williams sounds
fantastic as
trashy.
everybody thought that it was going to be. What I will say, because it's about Roger Ailes and Fox News,
Oh
et
yeah.
cetera, et
Well, they
cetera.
already did that TV series about it,
the
which I
loudest
hated.
voice. I
was
thought it was
gross.
fantastic.
I thought it made me feel gross to see.
Well,
him.
I mean, because it was
just-
accurate.
I mean, from what
But-
we know, I don't know. I didn't know him.
But
I
Roger,
mean, I just like
Roger Ailes is a perfect example. Who's also a very good friend. Was very good friend of Trump's. He's a perfect example of
Weinstein's
somebody.
I
that
think, too, as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
These are
I mean, these guys run in the same circles.
Yeah, they
Trump is
do.
not. Trump. That's why when Trump kicked what's his face out of Mar-a-Lago, it was actually a big deal. You
Who'd
know,
he kick out?
He kicked out I can't remember his name now. Another Steen who had the Lolita Express.
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. You don't. It's funny how if you don't know,
Because he'd been friends with him for like 20 years.
he was friends with Oprah for 20 years. He was friends with everybody. They're all on those logs.
Didn't he kill
Clinton
Epstein?
was on his Epstein Island for nine
didn't he kill Jeffrey
different
Epstein?
times. He didn't know. Somebody
Somebody
killed
said
him.
Bill Clinton did. I don't know. What
Somebody
Somebody killed him.
Somebody killed him. Epstein didn't kill himself. That's true.
definitely did not.
Listen, President Trump kicked him out. He wasn't the president at the time of Mar-a-Lago because Epstein had petitioned petitioned a young girl who was there who happened to be the daughter
Proposition.
Proposition.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. Propositioned a young girl to try to get her to become one of his prostitutes. And Trump found out, I think she worked, she was either the daughter of a friend or the daughter of someone who worked there. And he found out and he kicked him out, banned him for life from coming into Mar-a-Lago.
Have you ever been on The
Huge
View?
deal. The View? No, I'd love to
You'd
go
be
on The
great.
View.
I'd love to see
love
that.
to.
You'd be fantastic
thank
on The
you.
View.
You guys, thank
You would.
I'd love to go toe to toe with those ladies.
No,
Joy
because
versus
you-
Joy.
No, not only
love
that,
Whoopi.
wait, not only that, they have Abby's out now. They have an opening. They need a young
Oh,
black
shoot.
conservative. I don't think they've
Let's
ever had
get
that.
it out there. The View. Call me up.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
now.
Well, you can come back
Email
whenever.
my manager.
Gonna be a lot of hate mail, for sure.
You know what? But it'll be good in the algorithm, you
Yeah.
guys.
Gotta respect the algorithm.
Fab.
Well, thank you for having the courage to come up here and being so
Yeah.
calmly articulate about what you believe. I think that, I try, we get attacked sometimes for having people on the show that don't necessarily always align with our audience, but I kind of feel like we need
We
to get
have to, though.
we need to get in a world where we're more tolerant of difference.
Yes.
And we don't have to agree. There's a lot
That's
I don't
right.
agree with and a lot you don't agree with.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be gay and you're going to like Trump.
This would have been a totally
I love
different
you being gay.
And I don't love
listen,
you being Trump.
You know what? But I had a relationship with a woman.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't come out as like, I don't use these titles or terms, but I had a relationship with a woman.
So
I
is
fell in
that
love
more
with the woman.
pansexual or?
Like I said, I don't use the titles because everyone's trying to do that. By the way, guys, I'm quasi, semi, demisexual. Like, I'm like, no, it's fine. Whatever. I fell in love with a woman. That's fine.
Yeah.
I've never said that on anything before.
I kind of
But
felt-
I feel like human beings are going to be who human beings are. Let's let people have their thing without trying to cancel them or put them in a box. I've gotten that all my life. What are you? It pertains to the way I look. I don't speak enough Spanish to be Latin. I'm not dark enough to be black. I'm not, obviously white enough to be white. What are you? So I grew up going, I'm a sci-fi nerd. I'm a singer. I play guitar. I'm an artist. I dance. I'm goofy. And I didn't look at this. So now that I have all this, and obviously this is a big part of who I am, it's like, oh, that's cool that you now see that I'm like a sexy, like ethnic woman of color, like that's in now. Because my whole life I've been told I'm not XYZ. So then I said, well, fuck XYZ. I'm Joy Villa. You can find me at joyvilla.com.
And that's a great way to end the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We're out of here.
you, guys.
Peace.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
What up, YouTube? Thank you for watching this reckless show.
Yeah, and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell.
And also don't forget to share and leave a comment because we are reading.